go status.
T-minus 30 seconds.
The morning mayhem.
TPA script running. Second stage LH2 securing started.
Ready for launch?
Ready to embark on a national security mission for the United States of America.
News Talk 92.
Range green.
Igniters armed. Rofi ignition.
KBU.
4, 3, and liftoff.
The morning mayhem is on. The morning mayhem is pre-recorded and for entertainment purposes only.
I think it's time to blow this scene. Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
And let's jam here on this here Tuesday morning, everybody, as we kick off a very special Tuesday. It's Primary Tuesday. And we'll also talk about having some heavy rainfall that could bring some flooding here in South Arkansas. And the census likely undercounted Arkansas population more than any other state. State senator files ethics complaint against Common Ground Arkansas. Another law professor says that's got no merit. And Arkansas Gov claims he disagrees with the abortion ban that he signed into law. And redistricting could shift some Arkansans to cast their ballots in different locations. And Arkansas 2022 primary election information and all you need to know about this special Tuesday right here on News Talk 92 KBU, the news and talk of South Arkansas. News Talk 92 KBEU, the news and talk of South Arkansas. Good morning, everybody, here on a special Tuesday, his morning as well, because today's the day, man. It's early voting done. You can't early vote anymore because today's the day to vote. So you can't exactly early vote on a vote day. And Tuesday is the vote day. 66 degrees outside right now with a high of 80. Feels like 66 degrees outside. So you would think that's a good thing, but we could be seeing some interesting things that could be coming into our forecast today, because today could be the day that we start seeing some crazy rain out there. Yes, it's going to get a little crazy as we get into our election day. And some of this stuff is actually expected to come in later tonight. And it actually start around, early evening, something like that. Hang on here a second. I believe that's what it is. Hang on, I got to check my notes here. But it's expected for Tuesday and Wednesday, and it appears the amount will not be quite as heavy as previously thought, though. The forecast calls for 3 to 4 inches of rain instead of about 4 to 6 inches. From central into southwest Arkansas. Elsewhere across the state, though, 1 to 3 inch amount is expected. Given this much rain, though, there is potential for flash flooding in certain places. And if you got a river running through it, expect it to be rising, because that's probably going to be what happens there. You're going to see some rising rivers. So today, this thing should kick up about... actually right around, later in the evening there. So, the polls close at 7. So you should be okay if you're getting to vote last minute and getting it in there. You should be okay, because most of this stuff should start popping in there about just after 7, more like 8, 10 o'clock at night. And then that's actually going to carry through into the overnight hours into Wednesday. And so you're just going to see a bunch of rain out there. And by Thursday, all that stuff will push out. So what they're expecting, though, is they're looking about, where's Washita there? About 3 to 4 inches there. So we are in the kind of moderate area. They were expecting 4 to 6, though, but that's kind of moved off. And now that's more over in Texas than it is in Arkansas. So where they're expecting 4 to 6, it's way over there in Texas, East Texas. And so now we got 3 to 6 inches though. They were saying that it could be heavy downpours at time as well, and we could see some just heavy rain coming down. So, of course, anything gets crazy out there, we'll keep you informed. Of course, we got the National Weather Service that always breaks in to let you know what's going on as well with the weathers. And, of course, if anything gets even crazier than that, we'll break in and go live and start letting everybody know, hey, y'all need to start paying attention to the weather. So just kind of keep that in mind if you're going to be out voting late today, because the polls should close around, 7 or so? What is it? 7:30? According to the Arkansas Secretary of State website, voting locations will open at 7:30 a.m. today and close at 7:30 p.m. So there you go. For more information about the election stuff, you can visit the Secretary's website there and get all the information that you need. Just Google Arkansas Secretary of State and you'll find everything you need to know. So go there. Wait a minute here. Hang on. Whoop, wait a minute. Hang on. I think hang on. Arkansas Secretary of State. Hang on there, because I just noticed something here. Hang on. I just happened to notice something. I was like, whoa, wait a minute here. I think I just saw that. And because I think it's actually 7 to 7, isn't it? Or it should be. Let's see. So May 24th. So deadline is let's see, May 24th. Parsing all that there. Well, that's not very clear, is it? Anyhow, it should be about 7. I think that's what it is. I think I was looking at somebody else's there, because of where that came from. But I am not seeing 3. Well, that's back in February, dude. I don't want that. I want to know when. Let's see, that's May, and then that's there. But today's the 24th, and there it is. So it's saying preferential primary election in Arkansas, and it's got codes and everything else. But hang on here a second. Let's look it up this way. Instead of going there, let's see. You got your early voting there. So you got this stuff there, and it's still from the Secretary of State. Well, dang. I wasn't expecting that. Nope, they got everything on how you could vote, but they don't have the times on there. I think it's 7 to 7. Let's just go with 70, because if it is 7:30, hey, that's a bonus round. Let's put it that way. It says to go to the Arkansas Secretary of State, which did, and it's actually not up there. So that does not help. That is not helping me. It's got everything else but what I'm looking for up there. So yeah. Anyhow, you know what? 7 to 7. Let's just go with that. If the polls are open at 7:30, it's a bonus round. So there you go. We'll just take it with that, because I believe that somebody else is there. I just happened to notice that came out of Monroe, so I was like, that might be Louisiana's. Anyhow, here's the thing. Today's the day. All right. So if you were planning on early voting, yeah, you ain't early voting on nothing now, because that opportunity has passed. So now today is the day to vote. Now, is what I did is I took my nifty little sheet with me that I got from the ArkansasVotersGuide.com. So go up there and get your little ArkansasVotersGuide.com, and then it had everybody that is running for something, and it gave me everything that I need to know about the issues and where they stand on the issues and who I want to be on those issues. And so that way, when I went in there to vote, I had a better idea of who I'm voting for and what I was pulling the lever for and what was going on. And so that's how I voted. So there was that. And the only thing this first time I've ever done a primary. I normally do not do primaries. In fact, I don't ever do, I say normally, but I never do primaries, simply because you have to pick a side. And I hate picking a side, because then that means that, now I'm like registered as, doing a Democrat ballot, or registered as a Republican ballot or something. And I was like, no, I don't want that. I want to be able to go in there and pick and choose. And, well, you can't do that during a primary. But you can do that during the general election, which will be coming up in November. So just remember, all this is about is trying to pick out one person out of a pool of people to run for one office. So like the governor, right? We got on the Republican side, you've got Huckabee, and then you've got, not Huckabee. You've got Sanders, and then you've got Washburn on the Republican side, and then on the Democrat side, there we go. Yeah. So, you got Anthony Bland there on the Democrat side, Chris Jones, Democrat, Jay Martin, Democrat, James Russell, Democrat, Sufa Mays, Democrat, and then you got Sanders, Republican, and Washburn, Republican. So, out of the Republican side, we got to pick one. So is it going to be Washburn or Sanders that's going to go up against the other 5 on the Democrat side? And then on the Democrat side, you got to pick out one. So out of that 5, who's going to be the one? So that's what the primary is about. Is trying to narrow everybody down into one person who is going to represent that party. So that's what we'll find out tonight. Now, I'm going to actually be at the courthouse tonight, and we're going to go ahead and tally up what those numbers are. And as they come in, your county clerk, Britt, will be out there counting all that up, making it official on the counts of who is what and what is who here for the county. Granted, this is not for the state. This is just for the county. So that's what we're concentrating on, is what our counts are for the county. And of course, we get any other counts statewide or anything else like that, we'll post those too. And we'll get that going there. Oh, and by the way, I'm back in Facebook jail again. Didn't even make it a week, and I'm already back in Facebook jail again, supposedly for hate speech, for saying that men are like dogs. That, if you don't keep good food out on the porch, they'll just go wander off on somebody else's porch. Who knew that was actually a hate crime? Who knew? Now, what's funny, though, is I can say that on the radio, and it's not a hate crime or a hate speech or whatever. I mean, I'm governed by the FCC, Federal Communications Commission, right here, right now, on things I can and cannot say. And Facebook has stricter community standards, as they call it, for things you can say and can't say versus the FCC. All I got to do is stay away from the 7 forbidden words, and I'm pretty much good. And not try to start a riot or entice people to want to have civil disobedience or anything like that. And we're pretty much good. Because, when it comes to dealing with the commission, you're talking about like 30,000 to up to 150,000, if not more, forfeiture for being wrong or for doing wrong. Versus, Facebook just bans you for, so basically I'm in Facebook jail now for 7 days. Because I said men are like dogs. And that's hate speech because I'm, so if you compare a human to an animal, right? Because that's the hate speech that I'm supposedly been flagged for. So if you say that a mom is like a mother bear when she protects her cubs, is that like reducing a woman to an animal, and that's being stereotypical, and so that's hate speech? I mean, does it just have to do with the type of animal that you choose? Because, we know that mama bears can be very vicious when it comes to protecting their cubs, and that's a good thing, right? Because we see that as a protector. So even though we're comparing a woman to an animal, does as a analogy, does that mean that that's hate speech? I was just curious, because I mean we've compared people to animals before, with having animal-like instincts, but that's reducing people as subhuman. I had no idea that that's what hate speech is about, is comparing people to subhuman by comparing them to animal-like instincts or acts or whatever. Anyhow, that's where I'm at. So, yeah, I'm back in jail. Congratulations, me. Yay. All right, I got to take this break. We'll be right back. News Talk 92, KBEU, the news and talk of South Arkansas. News Talk 92, KBEU, the news and talk of South Arkansas. Good morning here on this Tuesday morning. 66 degrees outside, feels like 66, a high of 80. Gonna see some rain out there. Could see about 3 to 4 inches of rain A little bit less than what they were expecting when they were saying about 4 to 6 inches here in South Arkansas. So they've reduced the amount of rain that we can see, but it could rain out there as well. And hopefully it'll hold off until after 7. That's kind of what we're looking at there, because today is election day. So today's the day to be able to get out there and cast your vote. You got one last chance to do this and get it right. And the polls close at 7, so you better get in there before 7. You've had your chance to be able to early vote, and early voting is now over. So today is the day for vote. So that's what we're doing today. And we will be out there at the courthouse, there at the Ouachita Courthouse, with the results and stuff of what's going on here for Ouachita County. And then, of course, we will watch what's going on across the state there as well and try and keep you updated on those too. So with that, though, I am in Facebook jail, so I'm going to have to find a alternative way to be able to post those things up on Facebook for you. That's lovely. Most definitely. Because I'm going to have to pose as somebody else, I guess, because who knew that comparing a person to an animal and, in a funny way, not, I didn't realize that, saying that men are dogs is actually hate speech. When did that happen? Especially if you're a guy. I mean, who knew? I had no idea. So anyhow, yeah, I'm trying to get that disputed, but of course, they're going to stick to their guns on that. And decide that, whatever, you're just going to have to stay in Facebook jail for 7 days. So if you don't hear from me on the Facebook site for 7 days, yeah, that's why. So here's the thing. You can find me on Twitter. You just find Doc Bryce on Twitter. So I can still post there. As for the podcast, though, the podcast will not go up on the Facebook page because I won't be able to post up on the Facebook pages to share the podcast. So what you'll have to do is just go to your favorite podcast platform like Spreaker, or go to Spotify, or go to iHeart, iTunes, Google Podcast, Amazon Podcast, any of those locations, and just search for Doc Bryce Morning Mayhem. And of course, that also affects the other ones as well, the Roundtable, and also affects Trivia Tracks, and Remember When with Uncle John. All of those, it'll affect all of those. So those won't be posting. So be sure to use the alternative sources. And you know what the easiest thing to do is just go get that RSS feed, put that in there, and then that way your podcast, your favorite podcast app will just automatically update that stuff for you. You don't even have to go look for it anymore. It just poof, you get a notification that it's there, and you're like, oh my gosh, there's a new podcast, and you just go on about your day. So there you go. See, that's how you do it right there. That's the best way to do it. I'm just saying. So anyhow, let's see. Before the break, we were talking about how I got put in Facebook jail and how stupid that is, and that Facebook is stupid, and everybody's stupid, and the whole thing is stupid. And no, that's not hate speech, because obviously you don't know what hate speech is, because I know what hate speech is, and that's why I don't use hate speech. Right, exactly. So, looks like Arkansas is going to lose some money. Some big time money, because the U.S. Census Bureau said it likely undercounted the population of Arkansas by more than 5% in 2020. Now, the whole reason of doing the census and everything, you have to understand, is so that way when they do the census, based on those numbers, if the numbers are higher, well, then that means that the state gets more money from the federal government. If the numbers are lower, then, of course, the state gets less money from the federal government. So we want more money from the federal government. So we want to make sure that we are counted as accurately as possible. But supposedly, I guess, after COVID and everything, come to find out, I guess, the federal government don't like Arkansas or something. Because the Bureau released its post enumeration survey Thursday, revealing that 14 states were estimated to have had either an undercount or an overcount. It considered statistically significant. Like, whoa, that's a big difference there. So Arkansas experienced the largest undercount at a negative 5.04%, according to the Bureau. Other states with estimated undercounts were Florida, Illinois, Mississippi, Tennessee, and Texas. See, those sounds like states the federal government don't like, because it caused too many problems for everybody. The Bureau said 8 states were likely overcounted, which would be Delaware, Hawaii, Massachusetts, Minnesota, New York, Ohio, Rhode Island, and Utah. How do you overcount Rhode Island? And everybody knows you're supposed to avoid Utah anyways. Utah doesn't count. Subject to change. No purchase required. Arkansas's total census count was 2.929 million, and the Bureau estimated it slightly overcounted the state's population back in 2010 by 0.41%, said the comparison could not be considered definitive since methods used to estimate errors have improved since the 2010 census. So, fate of trillions of federal dollars rides on this census result, as noted in the American Journal of Public Health's publication on how inaccuracies in the 2020 census could create a misalignment between states' needs. Well, we were in a full swing of COVID, too. COVID. Yeah. The consequences of miscounting states' populations means potential loss of federal funding, or, on the flip side, could get too much funding. So at least 140 federal grants and direct assistance programs distribute billions of dollars every year based on the data from the U.S. Census, according to the Bureau. So it's very important that we get counted correctly. So overall, the Bureau said South region was undercounted by negative 1.85%, while the Northeast region was overcounted by 1.71%. I see some bias in there because, everybody's leaving New York anyways to go to Florida. So they're trying to they got to pump them numbers up, you know what I'm saying? Just to make it look good. So achieving an accurate count for all 50 states and D.C. is always difficult for an endeavor, and these results suggest it was difficult again in 2020. I guess it was COVID related, particularly given the unprecedented challenge that we face. Census Bureau Director Robert L. Santos said, it's important to remember that the quality of the 2020 census total population count is robust and consistent with the recent censuses. However, we know that there's still more work to do in planning future censuses to ensure the equitable coverage across the United States with the censuses, and we are working to overcome all the censuses obstacles to achieve that goal. Whew. So there you go. That's what's going on with that. Yay. All right, I got to take this break. I'm running over. News Talk 92, KBEU, the news and talk of South Arkansas. Oh, yeah. News Talk 92, KBEU, the news and talk of South Arkansas. On the other side here, the 6th. It's election day, baby. Yeah, let's get it on. Because we've already done the early election and everything. So, you know what? If you're like, well, I think I'll early vote today. No, that's not going to be happening for you at all. You're going to be voting today because today is the day to vote. And if you don't vote today, you cannot vote ever again in the 2022 primary election because it'll be gone forever. And you'll never get to do it again. You'll just have to wait till the general election of 2022 in November. So that's where that will lead you. We will be at the courthouse and we'll be doing the morning show. Actually, is what we're going to do. We're not going to broadcast live from the courthouse like we normally do for the general election. What we will do is we will broadcast from the courthouse tonight, but we're just going to go ahead and tape everything and then just put it in the morning show for Wednesday morning. So that way, when you wake up, you'll have, you'll find out what happened while you were sleeping. So then that way you can actually start your day with all the information that you need to get underway. And then you'll have plenty to talk about it at the cooler. The water cooler. In my hourly news, I was talking about how a senator actually filed an ethics complaint against some people. And if you know him, you love him. Either you love him or you hate him. It's Trent Garner, everybody. Hey, yeah, there. Hang on. It's State Senator Trent Garner, everybody. Yeah, all right, there it is. Yeah. Yes, either you love him or you hate him. State Senator Trent Garner, while he's still occupying the seat there, announced that he filed an ethics complaint against the Common Ground Arkansas. The 501c4 group promotes moderate policy and candidates in Arkansas. Garner said he thinks that the group and its founder, State Senator Jim Hendren, who's an independent, violated election law through several recent television and radio advertisements aired in Northwest Arkansas. So Common Ground Arkansas is a dark money organization that's trying to hide from the people of Arkansas who their donors are. That's what Garner's saying. And so he called him out. And if you go to his Facebook page, you can see he actually scanned in the complaint that he's filing and everything, and saying, look, you're right here. This is what I'm doing. In fact, hang on, I'll jump over there right now and take a look as well, because that's where I got my news story from. From yesterday was I saw that, and so he posted that on there. And let's see, there's the ethics thing. Oh, he shared the story too, because somebody picked up on the story. Yeah, so he's got the actual form. It's a citizen's complaint form, and he filed it out there, and he identified the person he's complaining about, which is Jim Hendren. All that information there, phone number and all that. And it says, well, state in your words the detailed facts and actions and stuff that this person did that would be in violation. So he typed it all out and everything and said, hey, look at here. He said, Jim Hendren, as founder and board member of the Common Ground Arkansas Incorporated, a nonprofit corporation in Arkansas, violated Arkansas election laws by engaging in expressed advocacy for the direct purpose of influencing the nomination for election or election of candidates. And then he's got that attached to that. And then, of course, that's signed, been sealed, and notarized and everything. So there's all that. And then he's got an attachment of what that is. And I mean, it's a pretty long, detailed complaint about what he's saying. By around May 16th, 2022, Common Ground Arkansas ran a political ad in a newspaper. And he's got that attached as well, in support of 3 political candidates for the General Assembly. And the 3 candidates are Jim Toll, political candidate for Arkansas State Senate, and District 32, Pete Christie. It goes on and on and on. I don't want to get into the details there or anything like that. But, when it comes to ethic violations, if there's one person who is definitely now I say this, a hound dog. I don't know if that's hate speech or not, because, Facebook banned me for comparing people to animals because supposedly that's subhuman. But, when it comes to really sniffing out ethic violations like a hound dog. So if that's a hate speech, I apologize, because I can't think of any other analogy to give you a mental image on radio, what that would look like. But, it's Trent Garner. Trent Garner can just sniff that out, and he's pretty good at finding those kind of ethic violations. So if I just made a hate speech, I apologize in advance, because Facebook says that's hate speech, and that's why I've been put in Facebook jail. Who knew? I had no idea. You cannot compare people to animals, because you make people subhuman, and that's bad, because then that makes you think you're far superior. I'm thinking, dude, I wish I had that kind of ability. Like when I compared state troopers to hawks, because they got like the eye of a hawk. Did you know that's hate speech? I had no idea either. Who knew? I didn't. I'm over here sitting there doing my regular thing. But anyhow, getting back to it though. State Senator Trent Garner is really good about sniffing these things out when it comes to ethics violations. And we've seen him put many people to task to have to come and get called to the carpet and answer for their actions. So he says that it's dark money. And in the complaint, he claimed that the organization needed to specifically register with the state to promote candidates if it didn't want to release donors' names. He said they blatantly say they support these candidates. And then Garner continues saying, if you do that, that means you have to disclose your donors, file and register as an independent expenditure committee or group. And then, let's see. So Garner and Hendren have been at odds in the past as well. The former filed a complaint against the latter in 2020, and that was later retracted after the Senate Ethics Committee twice dismissed it. Garner said personal history has nothing to do with this complaint. So he says that no matter if it's Jim Hendren or anybody else in Arkansas, it's important that we get these special interest groups to follow the law. And when it comes to law, if you didn't know this already, Senator Garner is an attorney, and attorneys practice in law. And so when it comes to knowing the law, I would think that Garner probably knows what he's talking about. So anyhow, in the statement, Hendren, of course, denied any wrongdoing. He's like, I don't know, there's no merit here. He said anyone can file a complaint. And even at the state center, on baseless grounds, that doesn't mean any violations have actually occurred. So, I've not been notified of any complaints by the Ethics Commission. And so, like, I don't respond to Facebook allegations made the day before an election because whatever. It was more than just a, Facebook allegation. I mean, dude, there's actual documentation that's been signed, briefed, debriefed, indexed, and numbered, and notarized, and everything else that, it's been filed. University of Arkansas law professor said Monday the complaint is an example of the continuous nature of state politics. He says none of this has got merit, but it's super interesting for anyone who loves how weird and competitive Arkansas politics can be. And that's Matt Bender. He's a professor over there at the U of A. He says it's very transparent about what they're trying to do. So, no, there won't be any suspicious penalties for this. Bender said organizations like Common Ground don't have to list the people who contribute money to them. He also said the only way to legally make groups like Common Ground disclosure donors would be to pass a law through the legislature. So I guess, that they yeah. So Garner announced earlier this year he'll not run for re-election. Hendren, formerly a Republican who decided to leave the party and go independent because, he was just so tired of the shenanigans and everything in the Republican Party and considered a gubernatorial run, but never announced his candidacy. So that's where that's at. So I guess we'll see if anything comes of it. So we'll see. And then speaking of Republicans and, shenanigans and everything else and stuff going on, I think this is twice we've seen this happen with the old gov there, the old Hutch. He signed something into law and then I guess hastily signed something into law and then looks back and goes, I kind of regret signing that into law now that I look at it. That's just, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Which, is not a good thing if we're going twice on this, because think about this. He wants to run eventually for president of the United States of America. A pusa. Yeah, presidents of the United States of America. Actually, that's a band. But with that, though, as a governor, we can't be, sitting there signing stuff into law and then, a few days later looking back after it becomes law go, maybe I shouldn't have signed that because you know what? I kind of disagree with it. So he claims he disagrees with the abortion ban that he signed into law. He did the same thing. Remember when he did it with the masks? And he was like, really quick to sign the mask thing into law, which was to not allow people to mandate masks and things like that, especially schools and stuff. And so then they had the special sessions and the special session with your legislatures there of Arkansas were like, nah, everything's good. We like it the way it is. And then everybody's like, oh no, but we should allow children to have to wear masks in school. And it's like, didn't tell you, put a mask on your kid. You don't have to have a law that says that your kid must wear a mask. So anyhow, all that aside, that's happened twice. We did it with the masks, and then now we're doing it with the abortion thing that he signed a trigger law back in 2019 that would ban all abortions in Arkansas except to save the life of a pregnant woman in a medical emergency. That is if Roe versus Wade is overturned. So the old Hutch there claims he disagrees with the law's lack of exemptions for victims of rape and incest. So a while back there, he appeared on CNN. And this is not the first time he's appeared on national TV or national news circuits saying that he regrets what he's done. But he was there for the State of the Union on Sunday, and Hutchison tried to distance himself from the law he's responsible for putting into place by saying that a rape or incest exemption, which is not currently included in the law and would be very appropriate. So it says that Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchison tries to explain on CNN that while he personally supports exceptions for rape and incest and abortion bans, he signed a trigger law in 2019 that bans abortions with no exemptions whatsoever for those victims anyways. So he says that even though he pushed the legislation to include those two exemptions, Hutchison has supported and signed other Arkansas laws restricting abortions, including the 2021 ban, and advocated that that would subject abortion providers to felony charges, including a maximum of 10 years in prison, up to $100,000 in fines. That law also did not include exemptions for rape and incest or fetal abnormalities or only life of the mother. So host Dana Bash pushed Hutchison in on this position and says, your law only has exemptions for the life of the mother, she said. So just to be clear, if Roe versus Wade is overturned, no woman, unless her life is at risk, will be able to get an abortion in Arkansas. So it's if Roe versus Wade was reversed, the trigger law in Arkansas would be come into effect, Hutchison said. And whenever I signed that law, I did express that I support also exemptions of rape and incest. The life, he could have just not signed it. The life of the mother and the rape of exceptions, I believe they should have been added, and did support General Assembly and all that other stuff there as well. So Bash called him out on his hypocrisy, noting that while he said he disagreed, he still signed it into law, which he's done twice: the mask mandates and then this. So she goes, Governor, you did sign this into law, and that does not include the exemptions of rape and incest. So I know you said that, but would you rather just that not be part of the law, but it is, and you signed it? So Bash then asked Hutchison to discuss real-world implications of this and posed hypotheticals. For example, why should an 11 or 12-year-old girl who's impregnated by her father and uncle or other family members be forced to carry a child to term? And so had to deal with that particular circumstances, even as governor, Hutchison answered and said, while, it's still a life in the womb, life of the unborn and conception was under criminal circumstances, either incest or rape. And those are two exceptions I recognize and I believe were very appropriate. So later, Hutchison said that he thinks that the possibility of exemptions will be revisited if Roe is overturned, although he did not offer proof of why he believes the legislature stance would change. But then added to a cop-out that there's no guarantee of that, but the public opinion does matter whenever, it comes to elected representatives, he says. So there you go. Yeah, that's why people think the old Hutch there's a rhino. And he wants to run for president. So I'm just saying, keep this in mind. He's done it twice here in Arkansas. So, something doesn't work out in his favor as a president, that he signed something into law. And so then he comes back and says, I know I signed that big thing into law that really affects a lot of Americans. And as your president, I really regret signing that into law. Oh, I could see that coming. It's just a cop out is what that is. And, it's just, another one. I'm very disappointed when it comes to Hutchison. I mean, I thought he was going to, he was a little different. He was doing some different things during the COVID and was actually going the right path, and then somehow turned and then kind of went rhino with it and everything. And then next thing you know, it's he's kind of flaking out. And so now we got to deal with, who's going to replace him since he's termed out. And what are we going to get? Chances are we going to get Chris Jones as a Democrat, or are we going to get Sanders as a Republican? And Sanders, if she's anything like her father, we're going to have Huckabee again. And that was kind of fun when I got here. All right, I've got to take this break, and we'll get into some other stuff with your election day here, and we'll figure out what we're going to do tonight and into tomorrow. All that more. News Talk 92 KBEU. News Talk 92 KBEU, the news and talk of South Arkansas. Boy, you want to talk about some situations here. Oh boy, we got something boiling up right now. Yeah, it's kind of, it really amazes me. Now, we did the whole redistricting thing, right? I mean, and this goes across the entire state of Arkansas. This is not, a central Arkansas thing. It's not a northwest Arkansas thing. It's not even a northeast, southeast, southwest, south Arkansas thing, whatever. It's an all across the board, all across the state Arkansas thing. So when they redistricted the state, that affected pretty much everybody in the state. People I couldn't vote for before, guess what? Now I can vote for them. People I could vote for before, guess what? They disappeared. So things have changed up a little bit. And you're going to notice that some people that you're looking for may not be on your ballot. And some things that you've never noticed before could appear on your ballot. So with that, they're saying that the May primary will be a statewide first election since Arkansas has been redistricted since the 2021 legislative session, meaning some voting locations could have changed. Who knew? Yes, you remember the good old days where, you would have to go to your polling place and be able to vote. And so the thing is, though, is that now that they've done it to where they've changed it up to where some of these polling places aren't going to be open because, well, they'll be closed. And then, they tried to speculate and say, well, that's because, they're trying to close down polling places so black folk can't go out there and vote and everything. And it's going to actually infringe on the minorities and all this other stuff and everything. And it's just total chaos out there. So with those changes and everything, keep those things in mind. I just want you to make a mental note of that. That's where the things were said about, doing this whole districting thing. It was supposed to disenfranchise the minorities. There were changes throughout the state, including shifts in 4 U.S. House districts that split Pulaski County between the 1st, 2nd, and 4th districts. Previously, the entire county was in the 2nd district. Now, in addition to the changes for federal districts, there was also multiple changes made in the maps for the state house and senate that can affect voting districting and polling locations in Pulaski County. Keep this in mind because I want to share something with you, which I think is really neat. So that's going to change polling locations. So Arkansas Secretary of State official has created an online portal for voters to use when where they can confirm their voter registration and locate their official polling location. So to use this portal, all you got to do is head on over there to the SOS, which stands for Secretary of State.arkansas.gov/elections. So you just go to sos.arkansas.gov and you go over there. So, you can register to vote and you can check registration status, polling sites, and sample ballots. You got a voter's guide in there. So that way the do's and don'ts, absentee voting, military and overseas voting, ballot issues, search candidates, find your elected officials, 2022 election dates, and also election video series. And you can also find election results, current most recent election results, historical election results, all this kind of stuff. Ethic filings, all the fun stuff out there. Okay. So, all right, there we go. We got everything that we need to know. So we check for polling sites, right? Because we want to know where to go. And so I guess Pulaski County is just crazy because, you have to go find a polling place. And let's see. Oh, you have to do it by. Oh, well, you have to do it by your zip code. Well, hang on, because I want to see where this goes to here. Let's see. So let's check a Little Rock. Let's do this. Little Rock, Arkansas zip codes. Let's just pick one. Let's just have some fun here. Let's pick a zip code here, and then 72002 looks like a fun one there. So let's go ahead and just pick that one there. And we will plug that in here to the Secretary of State and see what it does. It says no address can be found to match your entry. Whoa. Okay, then. So how about 72212? Oh, I think you actually have to put in an address. Address. Oh, shoot. Let's see. I know who to use. We'll use this guy here. It's a radio station over there. Yeah, that's what we'll do. So we'll just grab their address there and figure out where they are. There it is. Yeah, right there. That's perfect. So we'll use their address to see what happens and what pops up there. So just go ahead and let me copy that, if you will, and I will move that over here and put that there, and we will plug that in here to the Secretary of State. Bam. And no matching addresses. What? Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay, now we got it. Now let's go view and see what we do. So it just says polling location is Iglesia Busta Nueva Jerusalem. Polls are open from 7:30 to 7:30. And then Pulaski County Regional Building, you've got that over there. Anyhow, see, that's even confusing. And here's why I point this out. Because this just means that Ouachita County is just cooler than ice cold. This just how amazing Ouachita County is. So while the people up there in Little Rock are confused and not sure what to do or how to vote or where to go to vote because, they got split up into different districts and everything, that means that, based on where you live, everything's just going to be chaotic and change for you so dramatically that you're just not going to have any idea what you're doing. And this is just terrible. However, the cool thing is, even though Ouachita County got redistricted too, we also got our lines redrawn. Get this. All you have to do is be a registered voter in Ouachita County. Then you just go to a polling place anywhere in Ouachita County. You're a resident of Ouachita County, go anywhere in Ouachita County, flash your ID. They scan it and they give you a ballot that pertains to you. Just you. And next thing you know, you're voting. Now, I don't know how much simpler that can be compared to before when it used to be that you had to go to a particular polling place. Because trust me, my polling place is not open anymore. Where I used to go vote is not open anymore. I have to go down to the courthouse now. So I have to actually make a trip because mine used to be like right here down the street, right here from the radio station. I could actually walk across the street to my polling place and it's closed now. So now I have to get in my truck, use my fuel, and then go drive over there to the courthouse to go vote now. But you could go to any of the polling places anywhere in Ouachita County, and once you flash your ID, you get the ballot that pertains to you, and you vote, and you're done. I guess they don't do that in Pulaski County, because, they got the capital there, Little Rock and everything, all that fancy stuff, and the highfalutin city lifestyle and everything, and they just can't figure it out. Top of the hour news, be back, News Talk 92, KBEU, the news and talk of South Arkansas. News Talk 92, KBEU, the news and talk of South Arkansas. Welcome here to the 7 o'clock hour. It's voting day here on your Tuesday. Get hip with it, baby, because it's voting day. Hip, hip. So just before the break there, the top of the hour and everything, we were talking about how I guess Pulaski County just can't figure it out because I'm confused with the way the story reads. Basically, it's saying that there's just going to be a lot of issues with the redistricting. People are going to be confused because, Pulaski's been split from what used to be the entire county used to be in the 2nd district. So now it's split up and it's in the 1st, 2nd, and 4th district. So people are going to be confused about what polling places to go to. And here in Ouachita County, the poorest county, I'm told, in the state of Arkansas, and the most, uneducated county in the state of Arkansas and the most unsuccessful county in the state of Arkansas. Because, from what I hear from the outsiders, they run Ouachita County down pretty good. Because they're like, y'all are idiots because y'all Ouachita. Y'all wash it all away. Anyhow. So after I've been told that Ouachita County is just pretty much, kind of the loser of 75 counties, somehow Ouachita County seems to always pull it off. Because they say we're the poor state, but yet somehow when it comes to taking care of our own, we know how to raise funds. When it comes to voting, we know how to simplify things. So we had polling places that used to be all over the county when it came to polling. In fact, my polling place got shut down too. They consolidated. And so they got this really neat system that they brought in a few years back. I think, what was it, 2018, that they brought in these new machines. And it's really neat because the voting registrar is all digitized now. So it used to be you had to go to your precinct because they had the book. And with that book, what they had to do is they had to go through a physical book, turn the page, find your name, and then take and pull a little sticker thing off and then put that on your ballot. So you had to physically go to your polling place because that's where your little sticky name was going to be. If you went to the other polling places, they would turn you away because your sticky name is not on their books. It's on a different book. But now they don't have to do that. Everything's electronic. So you could go to any polling place, which is great too, because, like if you work over in the area and you want to go vote during your lunch, which stinks, but you live closer to Chidester, and so you have to go back to your district to go vote, which is like clear across the other side of the county or something like that. Man, that would stink. But now all you have to do is just find a polling place closest to you in Ouachita County and bam, you vote. That's it. Flash your ID. It's all digital, and you get the ballot that is that that corresponds with your district, and poof, you're on your way. I guess they don't have that technology in Pulaski County, considering that Pulaski is the county for the state capital. And, they got Little Rock there. They got that highfalutin city life and everything. And you think with all the highfalutin stuff they got the broadbands and they got the interwebs and they got all that technology and everything that, us southern folk down here that we just wouldn't know how to comprehend what that would mean. So down here, you'd think we'd still be using paper. We're not. We're actually using electronic books to vote. It's real simple. You show up. I did it yesterday. I just went to the courthouse. I showed up. I flashed my ID. It scanned it and it spit out a ballot. I put it in the machine. I pushed a few buttons. Bam. I was done. I guess they don't have that up there because it doesn't say, all it's saying is that, it's the locations have changed. Voting locations have changed. Some people are going to be confused. They're not going to know where to go because it used to be, the entire county was under a second district. Now it's split up between first, second, fourth. Now you're going to be all confused and everything. There's going to be people on the ballot that you're going to be voting for that you didn't vote for before. And then people that you're looking for that are not going to be on there. And it's just crazy. In addition to the changes in federal district, there were also multiple changes made to maps of the state house and Senate that can affect voting, districting, and polling locations. We had the same thing happen here in Ouachita County. I just went to the polling place, scanned my ID, boom, it was done. The Arkansas Secretary of State office has created an online portal for you to be able to find your voting location. If you ever get confused, just go to sos.arkansas.gov/elections and just look it up there and figure it out. Man. They really don't have to complicate things. I'm telling you, these highfalutin city people, you'd think with all their technologies and things, you'd be able to vote off your phone. They could probably make it that simplified. So that way the minorities would not be disenfranchised because, you closed the polling places. Well, they closed my polling place too. Does that mean I'm disenfranchised because now I have to drive farther than I used to? Well, guess what? People are going to carpool anyways. At least for Memorial Day weekend, thanks to high gas prices. I wouldn't be surprised if people start carpooling to the polls too. So if you're headed somewhere for Memorial Day and have a big vehicle, you might be taking someone else's family with you too. A new poll found that more people are carpooling this year thanks to high gas prices. 82% of Americans who are going somewhere this weekend will travel by car. That's down 7% last year, and only 13% will be traveling solo. So around half said high gas prices are one reason they're planning to carpool this year. I guess it's great if you're going to the same place. It kind of stinks though if it's like, can you just drop me off at the end of the fence? That's where I'm going for vacation. Yeah, thanks. And then you're off to somewhere else. So it's like, you only get, support with gas for, till the end of the white picket fence. Anyhow, anybody traveling for Memorial Day weekend? Anyone? I will be. Yeah, it's one of those deals where the only reason why I'm doing it is because I'm being paid to do it. So, personality traits people develop later in life that they wish they had sooner. If there was something that used to stress you out, that if it happened now, would it bother you at all? Well, there's a thread online where people are sharing personality traits, and they developed later in life that they wish they had sooner. Here's some of the highlights of that. Like not getting thrown in Facebook jail for comparing people to animals. Like having hawk-like instincts, because that's hate speech. You're demeaning someone, dehumanizing them, making them subhuman, subpar, less than human. Because you gave them a great benefit. Anyhow, giving people the benefit of doubt. No one is trying to make your life harder. They're just trying to do things for themselves. So don't take things to heart and be kind to others. Let's see. Number 7, believing in your own assessment of people and not that made by others. These are things that you wish you had sooner that you didn't have now. Like 6, choosing to ignore dumb people instead of arguing with them. Yeah, that's a young people thing right there. Now I just agree with them, and that really messes them up. That's even more fun when you sit there and agree with them, and they're like, yeah, because, there's nothing here. Number 5, the ability to take criticism and feedback. and spirit in which it is given. Decisiveness, the ability to make a decision and stick with it. The ability to tell yourself to shut up when you start overthinking. Boy, that's a big issue with engineers. Firmness, firm in boundaries and asking for needs and wants. And coming in at number 1, the ability to not take things personally and be willing to be indifferent. I've noticed that with younger people too. Now, I don't care. It was just like, when I went through a first pregnancy, I took it personally because it's like, why are you yelling at me? What'd I do? Then in the second pregnancy, I'm like, oh, she's pregnant. So, that's probably not about me. So, you know what? She probably just needs some food. That's it. She's just hangry. So I just go ahead and get some, food from DoorDash there. And, some foods hold up better than others, though, when it comes to feeding pregnant women. But, hey, you know what? Actually, you know what? It might not be a bad idea. Just go ahead and leave and go get it, because that gives you a reason to leave the house for a while. Where have you been? You've been gone for 3 hours. They were out of food, so I had to go to a different location and get food. But you could have just used DoorDash. Ooh. Yeah, I guess I could, huh? DoorDash just released a report on restaurant orderings trends so far this year, and the number 1 menu item people are having delivered is French fries. Fries seem like one of those foods that never travels well, because they get soggy and probably going to be cold when you get them. The second most popular delivery item was burritos or burrito bowls, followed by chicken nuggets and chicken sandwiches, hash browns, and cheeseburgers. Most popular cuisine on DoorDash so far this year is American. Mexican is second, followed by Japanese. I didn't know you could get Japanese. Everything around here is typically Chinese. Italian and Chinese were also on there. Also, the pandemic is something we've just living with right now. So, DoorDash says people are still cooking more, even, more than they were last year. So, yeah. Oh, and get this, man, the last payphone. Who knew that there was still a payphone that was in service? It's gone. It was in New York City. And if you ever wanted to get a selfie with it, nope. You may have to go to a museum now. Because New York City removed its last payphone yesterday. And I feel like they could have, left this up to as a monument or something to simpler times. But I guess, people would have just continued to spray paint it and pee on it. The last payphone in New York City, it is New York City. The last payphone in New York City was removed yesterday. It was near the corner of 7th Avenue and 50th Street in Midtown Manhattan. Where's Superman supposed to change if all the payphones are gone? There's footage of a crane loading it onto the flatbed of a truck. A small ceremony was held down the street near Times Square, people calling it the end of an era. The latest stats says that we've seen, as of 2018, there were still around 100,000 payphones in the U.S. That's down from 2 million in 1999, and around 20% of them were in New York. New York started removing them in 2015 because cell phones had made them obsolete. They replaced them with some free Wi-Fi kiosks where you can charge your device and make free calls anywhere in the U.S. The kiosk also has a dedicated button that you can push to call 911. So other than nostalgia, there just wasn't a reason to keep that old payphone around. So it's gone. Bye-bye. So long. Farewell. Bye-bye. Cheese. Good night. We love you, Mr. Payphone. We gonna miss you. So, yeah. No more payphone. Oh, get this. Over in Texarkana, Sunday, Smokey and the Bandit is celebrating its 45th anniversary. And, if you're old enough to remember the movie and everything, the iconic, what was it? The Pontiac? Yeah, the old Pontiac Firebird. And, of course, people came to town and they were running around with their little Smokey, with their little Bandit lookalikes and stuff. Cause it's been 45 years since the black and gold Pontiac Trans Am tore across the South on a bootleg mission in the hit movie Smokey and the Bandit. And Burt Reynolds and Sally Fields starred in that film. And that's where the car they drove stole the show because, that's Bandit 1. And the truck was Bandit 2. So downtown Texarkana was taken over last Sunday afternoon by Smokey and the Bandit enthusiasts. There were plenty of food, Bandit Run t-shirts, and music to be had. So every 5th year anniversary of the movie, the group makes a run from Texarkana to Atlanta, Georgia. The idea is to reenact the film's famous beer run, but 4 states. Auto Museum board member Victor McLaughlin says that it's mostly about the classic cars. Yeah, I hope they're not actually, breaking the law and speed limits and all that and trying to get state troopers to chase them and everything as they make a run to Atlanta, Georgia. They say, we love coming down here, eating restaurants and everything, meeting people. Everyone's been wonderful. And it's the first one began back in 2007. What started was just as a couple of dozen Trans Ams has grown into 150 muscle cars taking part. Texarkana is a very special place for us, and we love that they embrace their role in the motion picture. And we think it's a lot of fun. And that was my impression of Texarkana was what I saw in Smokey and the Bandit until, I actually went to Texarkana, and it just looked like a, really quiet town with a little blinky light that did blinky light stuff there. So yeah, that's what they had going on. Hey, I've got to take this break. We got the round table up next. News Talk 92, KBAU, the news and talk of South Arkansas.